Hey there everyone, Videogame Cabinet here, and tonight we're doing a review on Silent Hill 2, which I played on the original Xbox. I just played through Silent Hill 2 for the second time and got the in-water ending. I initially played this game 5 years ago, but many subtleties of the story went over my head the first time around. Since then, my appreciation for psychological horror has grown by playing other noteworthy offerings from the genre, namely Haunting Ground, Rule of Rose, and Fatal Frame 2. So I wanted to go back and replay the revered classic and understand the full scope of why so many other gamers remember it with such high regard. Upon completing my second run of the game, I can now join in the celebration of Silent Hill 2 being one of the greatest survival horror games ever made. James Sutherland receives a letter from his late wife imploring him to come back to their special place in the neighborhood of Silent Hill. This picture-perfect opening immerses the player into a feeling of utter loneliness and isolation right away. While the first Silent Hill game was extraordinarily scary and unnerving, this sequel is also more somber and melancholy at the same time. The storyline in Silent Hill 2 feels very personal to the player, dealing with themes of guilt and confronting oneself for past sins. Many shocking and disturbing occurrences happen during James's trip through the remote town, and it all resembles a vivid dream. Each of the supporting cast plays a vital role in piecing together the purpose of this secluded world, but the interactions with Maria and Pyramid Head were especially surreal and impactful. Pyramid Head was one of the most menacing villains in all of survival horror, making me shudder in fear every time I spotted him down a long hallway. And the actress who voiced both Maria and Mary was outstanding, demonstrating incredible range from Maria's melodramatic outbursts to Mary's beautifully read letters. Being an early survival horror title, Silent Hill 2 plays just as you would expect, which I personally love. The emphasis on exploration to solve puzzles and riddles, along with the tank controls and purposely janky combat are all here. And everything is done inside the same striking set design and nightmarish atmosphere that made the original Silent Hill game so memorable. The graphics in Silent Hill 2 are greatly improved over its predecessor, as this was released in the following console generation. The extreme attention to detail in bringing the gritty backgrounds and ghastly set pieces to life is staggering. The fog-laden streets of Silent Hill envelop the player in a feeling of despair for the unknown of what lies ahead, and the horrific environments of the alternate nightmare realm are absolutely terrifying. The haunting musical score and unsettling sound effects also perfectly punctuate the bleak mood. Silent Hill 2 was a pioneer of psychological horror in video games. It's not a long playthrough, but it weaves a tight narrative about looking in the mirror and coming face to face with one's inner demons. The ending was deep and powerful, and I cannot stop thinking about what happened. Silent Hill 2 is one that really sticks with you after you finish it, and I am rating it a 9.5 out of 10. And that is my review. Yeah, like I said, I played this one 5 years ago, and this was... It was 5 years ago. There were a lot of subtleties about the plot that kind of went over my head, especially that there's a certain reveal. I don't want to spoil it, but there's a certain reveal very close to the end that is so quick and subtle, it's a little bit hard to see what's going on. And even on my second playthrough, I had to rewatch that cutscene like 5 times on YouTube before I saw exactly what was happening. Yeah, no, very powerful stuff, very powerful ending, very powerful messages, deep, and, this really was, it's a lot more subtle, and it tells a story that's a lot more personal than other games in the genre, but, it does hit you hard, especially now, like I said, on this second playthrough, and after playing other of these, like, sort of subtle, like deeper psychological survival horror games in the last year or two with Rule of Rose, Haunting Ground, and I just played through Fatal Frame 2. Those, they have some jump scares here and there like the Resident Evil games, but they're a lot more psychological and more subtle than, say, Resident Evil or Dead Space. And those are great games too, but yeah, like I said, this one's a little short, but it's like a really good horror movie that you just want to watch again and again. I've been rewatching the cutscenes on YouTube ever since finishing it, and it's just a beautiful. The opening to the game is so beautiful and just hooks you right in and just makes you feel alone and melancholy in a great way that fits the mood perfectly. And then the rest of the game is really good. It's disturbing like the first Silent Hill, but it's more somber and personal, mixed in with that. And it's really amazing. I also did beat the sub-scenario. I beat the main game yesterday evening, but then I beat the sub-scenario with Maria that they included on this Xbox version. I beat that this morning. It took me like a little over a half hour. It's really short. It's nothing compared to the meat and potatoes of the game, but if you like Maria's character, which I do, it was kind of cool to go through, but yeah, her character and her interactions with James in the main game is like the real powerful stuff. So, you can play the sub scenario or not. Like, it doesn't, alter my score of the main game. The main game, yeah, it really, really is sticking with me. The more that I think about it, I already want to go back and play it a third time, but, yeah, and I did want to hurry up and get this playthrough done because the remake just came out, and that one looks really good. It's on PlayStation 5. I'll have to get to that one soon. I heard that they made that one much longer than this original version, so that might be cool. But it's supposed to still be very faithful to all the big story beats that happened in the original, so that sounds great. And the graphics in this one, for the time, were amazing, but of course they're very dated now. From what I've seen of the remake, it looks very striking, very amazing with its modern graphics. But yeah, so yeah, 9.5 I'm giving this. When I first played it 5 years ago, like I said, so many of the subtleties of the story kind of went over my head. I have to admit, I was underwhelmed. And there were a lot of things about like the supporting characters that I didn't totally catch. And like I said, I didn't have the deeper appreciation for this genre that I do now. So back then upon like first playthrough, I was thinking, maybe 7.5. I don't know. I didn't understand the hype. But now, 5 years later, playing it again and taking my time with it, no, this is really powerful stuff. I gave Rule of Rose a 9.5 last year. That one I think is still my favorite survival horror period, but definitely my favorite psychological survival horror. That one is very personal and relatable with the grade school bullying. But this one is also very personal and relatable with the guy and looking for his wife and dealing with guilt. That is very, very relatable and very personal. And that's why I think I'm going to have to... That's why I'm giving this one a 9.5. This one really, I can see now why so many people love this game, and it tops so many lists of people's favorite survival horror, and it's up there for me, The other survival horror games that I have given 9.5s is, like I said, Rule of Rose. That's probably my number one favorite. And then the original Resident Evil on PS1 and Resident Evil Code Veronica on Dreamcast. Wow, those were really good. Those also deserve 9.5s. But I'm going to stick this one right in there with them. This one really is something special, and I'll have to get to the remake soon. But anyways, that's pretty much all I got to say on the game for now. 9.5 for the original version of Silent Hill 2 that I played on the Xbox. And have a good night.